The Ramayana, translated into English prose from the original Sanskrit of Valmiki, edited and published by Manmatha Nath Dutt, 1891. Ramayana, Ayodhya Kanda, Section 97. Pacifying Sumitra's son, Lakshmana, transported with rage and eager for encounter, Rama addressed him, saying, "When the mighty Bharata, possessed of high spirits, has himself come here, what is the use of the bow or the sword or the shield? Having promised to maintain my father's truth, what, O Lakshmana, shall I, having slain Bharata in battle, do with the kingdom with a stain attached unto it? That thing which falls to my lot on the destruction of friends and adherents I never accept, even like food mixed with poison. I swear unto thee, I wish for the possession of righteousness, interest, desire and the earth, in your interests alone, O Lakshmana. O Lakshmana, I swear by my weapon that it is for the maintenance and happiness of my brothers that I wish for the kingdom. O mild one, this earth herself is not difficult of being attained by me, but, O Lakshmana, I do not through unrighteousness wish to possess myself of Sakra's state. May fire reduce to ashes any happiness of mine that, O bestower of honor, happens to be dissevered from Bharata, or thyself, or Satrughna. I think Bharata attached unto his brothers had come to Ayodhya, and then, following the morality regulating the race, that one dearer unto me than life, hearing of me banished, bearing matted locks and bark, together with Janki, O hero, and thyself, thou foremost of men, has, with his heart surcharged with affection, and his senses overwhelmed by grief, come hither for seeing us. He cannot have come on any other account. And having got wroth with Kaikeyi, and given her rough speech, that auspicious one, having gratified my sire, has come hither to make the kingdom over unto me, and the season being fit, meet it is that Bharata should see us. He does not even in thought act against us. Hath array this Bharata done thee any bad turn? Or did he tell thee anything so alarming that today thou standest in fear of him? Certainly thou ought not to say cruel or unpleasant words in relation to Bharata. If wrong be done unto Bharata, I shall consider myself as wronged. Do sons, in times of peril, ever slay their father, or brothers their brother like unto their life, O son of Sumitra? If thou speakest thus for the sake of the monarchy, on seeing Bharata, I will say unto him, make over the kingdom unto this one. Earnestly exhorted by me, saying, do thou place the kingdom in his hands, he will say, very well. Thus addressed by his brother of a virtuous disposition, Lakshmana, ever engaged in Rama's good, from shame seemed to enter into his body. And hearing those words, Lakshmana, affected by shame, answered, I conceive our father Dasaratha himself hath come to see you. And finding Lakshmana overcome with shame, Raghava replied, I think that mighty armed one has come hither to see us, or I take it for certain that, considering that we are fit for ease only, and taking our banishment to heart, he will take us home. Or it may be that graceful descendant of Raghu, my father, will go away, taking from the forest Videha's daughter brought up in the lap of luxury. There are seen these graceful and well-bred steeds, courageous, swift, and furnished with the speed of the wind, the best of horses. And this huge elephant belonging to our aged sire, named Satrunjaya, proceedeth in the van of the army. But, thou exalted one, I do not see the splendid white umbrella of our father known among men. Therefore, doubts arise in my mind. Do thou descend from the top of the tree, O Lakshmana. Do my bidding. Thus did the righteous Rama accost Sumitra's son. Descending from the top of the Sala tree, that conqueror in battles, Lakshmana, stood by Rama with joined hands. Commanded by Bharata, let not Rama's asylum be trampled by the forces. The army took up its quarters at a distance from the hill. And the Ikshvaku host filled with elephants and steeds covering half a yojana, encamped at the side of the mountain. And keeping morality in their forefront, Anil renouncing pride, the disciplined forces schooled by Bharata in view of pleasing that descendant of Raghu, Rama, stayed in Chitrakuta. Section 98. Having stationed his troops, that best of men, the master, became anxious to go on foot to the Kakutstha honoring his superiors. And the forces having with humility took up the quarters assigned, Bharata addressed his brother, Satrugna, saying, O mild one, it behoves thee at once to search this forest all round in company with a large body of men as well as these Nishdas. And let Guha himself, accompanied by 1,000 of his kindred bearing in their hands arrows and bows and scimitars, also search for the Kakutstha in this forest. Accompanied by counsellors, citizens, preceptors and twice-born ones, I will on foot range every direction. So long as I do not see Rama, or the mighty Lakshmana, or the highly exalted daughter of Videha, I shall not attain peace of mind. And so long as I do not see that face of his, fair as the moon, with eyes expansive like lotuses, I shall not attain peace of mind. Surely, Sumitra's son, Lakshmana, who beholds Rama's countenance like the stainless moon, with eyes resembling lotuses, and beaming in effulgence, is blessed. So long as I do not take on my head those feet of my brother bearing royal marks, I shall not attain peace of mind. So long as established in the kingdom of his father and grandfather, that one worthy of the monarchy is not sprinkled with the water of installation, I shall not attain peace of mind. Blessed is Vaidehi, the eminently virtuous daughter of Janka, who followed the Lord of this earth bounded by the seas. And this Chitrakuta is fortunate, this hill, like unto the monarch of mountains, in which resides Kakutstha, like Kuvara in Nandana. And blessed is this deep forest inhabited by ferocious animals, where abideth the great King Rama, the foremost of those bearing arms. Having said this, that best of men, the mighty armed and highly energetic Bharata, on foot entered the vast forest. And that best of speakers went over the mountainside through ranks of blossoming trees. Then swiftly ascending a sala on Chitrakuta, he descried the high column of smoke belonging unto Rama's asylum. Having seen this, like one that has crossed over the ocean, the graceful Bharata, concluding that Rama was there, rejoiced exceedingly along with his friends. Having heard that Rama's asylum containing pious people lay in Chitrakuta, that high-souled one again stationing his forces, speedily went in that direction, accompanied by Guha. Section 99. Having quartered his forces, Bharata, eager to go to Rama's place, went to see his brother, showing unto Satrugna the signs of Rama's abode being in the vicinity. And having desired Vasistha, saying, Bring my mothers without delay, that one attached to his superiors went before. And eager to see Rama, even like Bharata himself, Sumantra followed Bharata at a short distance. And as Bharata passed on, he observed a neat cottage of leaves stationed among the asylums of anchorets, furnished with a portion having a wall with a door. And before the cottage, Bharata saw fuel broken up, and flowers gathered. And he saw at places signs of kusa and bark set up on trees when Rama and Lakshmana first arrived at their asylum. And in that habitation, Bharata saw great heaps of dry dung of deer and buffaloes, gathered for preventing cold. As he proceeded, the intelligent and mighty armed Bharata with a cheerful heart remarked unto Satrughna and all the courtiers, I conceive, we have reached the tract that was mentioned by Bharadwaja. Hard by this spot, I fancy, is the river Mandakini. On high are barks set up by Lakshmana. Having to pass by the way at unusual hours, Lakshmana has marked it with signs. On the side of the hill is the way by which long-tusked elephants pass to and fro with vehemence, roaring at each other. Here is seen the dense and dark smoke of that which the anchorets are ever anxious to preserve in the forest fire. Even here shall I with a delighted heart see that foremost of men, the noble Raghava, resembling a Maharshi, ever engaged in serving his superiors. Then going to Chitrakuta, that descendant of Raghu, coming to the Mandakini, said unto the men, that foremost of men in all the world, the Lord of all, coming into seclusion, is in his yoga posture. O fie upon my birth and my life! For me, having come by misfortune, and renounced every comfort, the effulgent Lord of men, Raghava, is dwelling in the woods. I shall be taxed of men on the score. Today, first pacifying him, I will fall at the feet of Rama as well as of Sita and Lakshmana. Having thus bewailed, Dasaratha's son saw a splendid, charming, and holy dwelling in that forest, composed of leaves. And Bharata beheld in Rama's habitation a sacred structure made of leaves, covered with a profusion of sala, palm, and ashwagandha leaves, spread with soft kusa, like a dace in a sacrifice, adorned with bows resembling the iris, plaited on the back with gold, of mighty force, and capable of achieving arduous feats and destroying foes, and garnished with arrows in quivers, seeming like the rays of the sun, with flaming mouths, like unto the Bhagavati with serpents, and exceedingly beautified. With golden sheaths and scimitars and shields spangled with gold and nice guana finger fences decked with gold, inaccessible unto foes like a lion's den unto deer, and furnished with a spacious dais inclined on the northeast, with a fire flaming on it. And looking around, anon Bharata saw his superior, Rama, seated in the cottage bearing a head of matted locks, clad in a black deerskin, and having tattered cloth and bark for his garment. And he saw Rama, seated like unto a flame, with leonine shoulders, mighty arms, and eyes resembling lotuses. The righteous Lord of this world, bounded by the seas, saw the mighty armed one, like unto the eternal Brahma, seated on a skin seat on the ground, along with Sita and Lakshmana. And seeing him, overwhelmed with grief and affliction, the righteous and graceful son of Kaikeyi, Bharata, rushed towards him. And soon as Bharata saw Rama, he, exceedingly distressed, broke out into lamentations in words choked with sorrow. And incapable of holding himself in patience, he said, that elder brother of mine, who seated in court should be surrounded by the subjects intent upon paying him homage, is now surrounded by wild deer. He that used to adorn his person with attire worth many thousands of things, engaged in observing morality, is clad in deerskin. Why doth he that always wore variegated blossoms, Raghava, beareth this burthen of matted locks? He who is worthy of acquiring religious merit by celebrating sacrifices according to the ordinance, is now following morality by afflicting his person. How is the person of that one, whose body used to be daubed with costly sandal, covered with dust? It is for me that Rama, although deserving of comfort, has come by this misfortune. Wicked that I am, fie upon my life despised of men. Thus lamenting in woeful guise, with the lotus of his countenance covered with sweat, Bharata coming at Rama's feet, fell at them bewailing. And inflamed with grief, the exceedingly powerful Prince Bharata, having in distress of spirit uttered, O noble one, again said nothing. And beholding the illustrious Rama, Bharata with his utterance choked with emotion, exclaimed, O noble one, and was unable to say anything further. Then Satrughna also weeping paid homage unto the feet of Rama. And shedding tears, Rama embraced them both. Then as in the sky, the sun and the moon meet with Sukra and Vrihashpati, those two princes, Rama and Lakshmana, met with Sumantra and Guha in the forest. And beholding those kings resembling leaders of elephant herds met together in that mighty forest, the dwellers in the woods, resigning their cheerfulness, began to shed tears. Section 100. Then Rama cast his eyes on Bharata, as clad in bark and wearing matted locks, he lay on the earth with joined hands, incapable of being gazed at, like the sun at the time of the universal dissolution. Then recognizing him a little, he took by the hand his brother Bharata, lean, with a pallid countenance. And smelling the crown of his head, and embracing that descendant of Raghu, Rama took Bharata on his lap and asked him affectionately, Where was thy father, child, that thou hast come to the forest? It certainly behoves thee not to come unto the forest while he is living. Ah, I see thee come from far after a long time. Why, my child, hast thou come unto this gloomy forest? Is the king alive, my child, seeing that thou hast come hither? Or, afflicted with grief, hath he suddenly gone to the other world? And, O mild one, child that thou art, thy kingdom ever thine hath not been wrested from thee. And, O thou having truth for prowess, dost thou, my child, minister unto our sire? And is that truthful one, that performer of Rajasuya and Ashwamedha, ever devoted to righteousness, King Dasaratha, well? And, my child, is that exceedingly effulgent and learned Brahmana ever steady in morality, the priest of the Ikshvakus, duly honored? And, my child, are Kausalya and Sumitra having a son, in happiness? And is the noble Kaikeyi in spirits? And is that one, sprung from a mighty line, humble and versed in various lore, thy priest, who performeth every ceremony, who beareth no ill will, and whose gaze is ever fixed upon our welfare, honored? And do intelligent and sincere people cognizant of the rules look after the sacrificial fire? And do they regularly inform thee of the proper seasons for performing the fire sacrifice? And dost thou regard the deities, the ancestral manes, the preceptors like unto predecessors, the physicians, the brahmanas, and the servants? And dost not disregard the preceptor Sudhamva versed in excellent arms whether inspired with mantras or not, and accomplished in the knowledge of polity? And, my child, hast thou employed as thy counselors, persons, heroic, learned, self-controlled, well-born, and understanding signs, who are like thy own self? O descendant of Raghu, counsel well kept by clever counselors versed in lore, is the root of victory with kings. And thou hast not come under the sway of sleep. And thou awakest at the proper hour. And dost thou during the short hours revolve the means of acquiring wealth? And thou dost not take counsel either with thyself alone, or on the other hand, with a multiplicity of counselors. And thy counsel doth not range the kingdom, i.e., And, my child, dost thou employ the best servants upon the best offices, the middling upon middling, and the worst upon the worst? And dost thou employ upon the most worthy offices counsellors who are above bribery, who have served thy father and grandfather, and who are pure? And do the subjects visited with condign punishment, as well as the ministers, disregard thee, O son of Kaikeyi? And do the priests scorn thee like a fallen one, even as females do those lascivious folks who use force towards the former? And, my child, dost thou employ the best servants upon the best offices, the middling upon middling, and the worst upon the worst? And dost thou employ upon the most worthy offices counsellors who are above bribery, who have served thy father and grandfather, and who are pure? And do the subjects visited with condign punishment, as well as the ministers, disregard thee, O son of Kaikeyi? And do the priests scorn thee like a fallen one, even as females do those lascivious folks who use force towards the former? He that doth not slay a physician skilled in ways and means, a servant given to enlisting the sympathies of his fellow servants against his master, or a hero that covets riches, is slain by them. And hast thou chosen for thy general, one that is confident, is endowed with intelligence and fortitude, sprung in a respectable race, and attached and able? And dost thou practically honor thy foremost warriors possessed of prowess, who have already given evidence of their manliness? And dost thou at the proper time grant thy soldiers what thou shouldst provision and pay, and dost not delay in doing this? If the proper time for granting provision and pay be past, the servants get wroth with their master and tax him, and great is the evil that springs herefrom. While there are excellent scriptures, these people of subtle intellects, having acquired a knowledge of dialectics, speak vanities. While there are excellent scriptures, these people of subtle intellects, having acquired a knowledge of dialectics, speak vanities. And, my child, dost thou protect the prosperous and renowned Ayodhya, inhabited formerly by our heroic predecessors, bearing a true name, having strong gates, filled with elephants, steeds, and cars, thronged by thousands, with noble Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas breathing high spirits, and with their senses controlled, each engaged in his own task, abounding in people learned in the Veda, and surrounded with palatial mansions of various shapes? And, O descendant of Raghu, are the flourishing provinces marked with hundreds of chakyas, filled with prosperous people, graced with abodes of deities, places for distributing water, and tanks, with men and women in happy mood, gay with meetings and festivities, having their outskirts well furrowed, provided with beasts, void of ill feelings, depending on tanks for their water supply, charming, renounced by fierce animals, free from all kinds of fear, decked with mines, left by unrighteous people, and well governed by my predecessors, having a good time of it? And do agriculturists and cowherds find favor in thy sight? And remaining in their respective vocations, do they enjoy happiness? And dost thou maintain them by securing unto them what they wish for, and removing from them what they wish away? All the dwellers in his dominions should be protected by the king. And dost thou conciliate the females, and are they well protected by thee? And dost thou not regard them, and dost thou not open unto them thy mind? And are the woods where elephants breed, kept by thee, and hast thou kin? And dost thou not foster mares and female elephants? And dost thou show thyself daily in the court, well robed? And rising in the morning, dost thou show thyself in the highways? And do thy servants boldly present themselves before thee, or do they all keep away? A middle course contributes to their good fortune. And are all the forts furnished with wealth, corn, arms, water, machines, artisans, and bowmen? And are thy incomings great and outgoings slender? And, O Raghu's descendant, thou dost not give away thy coffers unto the undeserving. And dost thou spend thy wealth in the interests of the deities, or the Pitris, or the Brahmanas who have come unto thee, or warriors, or friends? If any respectable, pure-spirited and clean person happen to be accused by someone of theft or other crimes, dost thou from covetousness punish him without first having him tried by persons versed in scripture? And, O best of men, is a thief, that hath been caught, interrogated as to his guilt, and found with the stolen property on his person, set free by thy men from motives of gain? And do thy counselors, O descendant of Raghu, accomplished in various lore, uninfluenced by greed, consider the conduct of both the rich and the poor involved in peril? O son of the Raghu race, the tears of those who have been falsely charged with any offense, and who have failed to obtain justice, dropping, destroy the sons as well as the beasts of the ruler that minds his own comfort only. And dost thou with these three gifts, mind and word, try to win over aged people, boys, physicians, and the principal ones? And dost thou salute spiritual preceptors, aged persons, ascetics, gods, guests, chakyas, emancipated ones, and brahmanas? And thou dost not oppose righteousness by interest, or interest by virtue, or both by desire, intent on gratifying the senses? And, O foremost of conquerors, dost thou, O thou cognizant of time, in season resorting to interest, desire, and virtue respectively, attain them, O bestower of boons? And do Brahmanas versed in all religious lore and knowing interest, together with the citizens and the inhabitants of the provinces, wish for thy happiness, O highly wise one? Atheism, untruthfulness, inattention, anger, procrastination, companionship with evil persons, indolence, gratification of the senses, consultation with a single person concerning the needs of a kingdom, taking counsel with those that are cognizant of evils alone, omission to take in hand a task that hath been decided upon, divulgence of counsel, non-commencement of a course in the morning, and marching against all the foes at one and the same time, hast thou eschewed these 10 and 4 faults? And, O descendant of Raghu, truly understanding the 10th, 5th, 4th and 7th classes as well as the 8th and 3rd ones, and the 3 kinds of learning, and victory over the senses, and the evils human and superhuman, 6 attributes, and the peculiar duties of royalty, and the 20 classes, and the kinds of prakritis and mandala, and yatra, chastisement, and war and peace, having each 2 sources, dost thou with due order observe all these? And, O wise one, dost thou, as laid down in the ordinance, take counsel, severally and in a body with 3 or 4 men? And dost thou observe the Vedas? And dost thou perceive the fruit of thy acts? And have thy wives borne children? And has thy knowledge of scripture borne fruit? And, O descendant of Raghu, is thy intellect going the way that I have indicated above? This course is conducive to long life, and fame, and virtue, desire and interest. And, O child, art thou following the course that was followed by our ancestors? And art thou maintaining the conduct that is excellent and passes along pious ways? And, O son of Raghu, thou dost not alone partake of sapid meats thyself alone. and dost thou share them with those friends who expect it. The learned king ruling all righteously, that chastiser of the subjects, the monarch attaining duly the entire earth, going away from hence, acquires the celestial regions. Section 101. Knowing Bharata as devoted to his superior Rama along with his brother Lakshmana, asked him, "What for is this visit of thine unto the woods? I wish to hear as clearly related by thee the reason why clad in black deerskin and wearing matted locks, thou, leaving thy kingdom, hast come to these regions. It behoveth thee to tell me all this." Thus accosted by the high-souled Kakutstha, Kaikeyi's son, suppressing his grief by a strong effort, with joined hands said, "O noble one, forsaking us all, our father possessed of mighty arms, having performed this terrible task, in consequence of being urged by a woman, my mother Kaikeyi, hath gone to heaven afflicted with grief on account of his son, or repressor of foes. And she hath committed a signal sin capable of destroying her fame. And without obtaining the kingdom which she had coveted as the fruit of her action, a widow tried with grief, my mother will fall into a terrible hell. Now it behoves thee to extend thy favor unto me who have become thy slave. Do thou this very day get thyself installed in the kingdom, like unto Indra himself. All these subjects and our widowed mothers have come unto thee. It behoves thee to show thy favor unto them, thou art the firstborn, and meet it is that thou shouldst get thyself installed, O bestower of honor. Therefore do thou receive the kingdom righteously and fulfill the desire of thy friends. And like the autumnal night on having the unclouded moon, let the entire earth cease to be a widow on having thee, her lord. With bent head I beseech thee along with these counselors. It behoves thee to show thy favor unto thy brother, disciple, and slave. Therefore, O chief of men, thou ought not to pass by this honored band of ancestral ministers, who have always been serving this race. Having said this, with tears flooding his eyes, the mighty armed son of Kaikeyi, Bharata, again took Rama's feet on his head. Thereupon Rama, embracing his brother Bharata resembling a mad elephant, and sighing again and again, said, "Of a high race, possessed of strength, endowed with energy, and vowed unto sterling worth of character, how can one like me commit sin for the sake of dominion? Fault find I none ever so small in thee, thou destroyer of foes. Nor doth it become thee from puerility to tax thy mother, O exceedingly wise one, O thou that art sinless. Superiors may act as they list in relation to those wives and sons of theirs that are after their heart. And this also thou shouldst learn, that wives, sons and disciples should always be obedient as has been held by the emancipated ones. O mild one, the monarch is competent to make me stay in the woods clad in black deerskin, as to establish me in the monarchy. And, O thou conversant with morality, O foremost of those observing righteousness, in respect of virtuous conduct, a mother should be as much regarded by a son as a father is. How can I, O descendant of Raghu, having been told by my righteous father and mother, go to the woods, act otherwise? Thou ought to receive the kingdom, Ayodhya, honored of men, and I ought to dwell in Dandaka dressed in bark. Having made this division of duties in the presence of all, and also enjoined this, the mighty monarch, Dasaratha, hath ascended heaven. That superior of all, even the virtuous king, is thy evidence. It behoves thee to enjoy that which hath been assigned unto thee by thy sire. And, O mild one, taking refuge in the forest of Dandaka for 14 years, I will act the part that hath been set apart for me by my magnanimous father. what hath been assigned to me by that one respected by all men, my high-souled father resembling the Lord of Celestials himself, is my prime good. The masterdom of all the worlds I would decline should it be opposed to the will of my sire. Section 102. Hearing Rama's words, Bharata answered, deprived of the kingdom in consequence of my posteriority in point of birth, what doth regard for morality avail me? O best of men, even this morality has ever been established with reference to us, viz., that the eldest son of the king existing, a younger one cannot be the king. Do thou, therefore, O Raghava, go along with me to the prosperous Ayodhya, and get thyself installed there for the behoof of our race. Although a king observing interest and virtue, and who towers above average humanity, hath been called a mortal, yet to me he is a very deity. While I was in Kaikeyi and thou wast in the forest, that intelligent monarch honored of the good, given to celebrating sacrifices, ascended heaven. As soon as thou hadst set out for the forest, along with Sita and Lakshmana, the king borne down by grief and chagrin, went to heaven. O foremost of men, do thou arise, and offer water unto the spirit of our sire. Satrughna and I have arrayed this offered water unto the departed. O Raghava, anything offered unto the manes of the ancestors by a beloved descendant, conduces to their eternal behoof, and thou wast the favourite of our father. Mourning thee and exceedingly desirous of seeing thee, his mind being fastened on thee and incapable of being turned away, deprived of thee, and smitten with grief on thy account, thy father departed this life, remembering thee. Section 103. Hearing those piteous words uttered by Bharata in connection with the demise of their father, Raghava was deprived of his senses. And on that thunderbolt of a speech being uttered by Bharata, like unto a real thunderbolt hurled in battle by the enemy of the Danvas, Indra, that subduer of foes, Rama, stretching his arms, fell down to the earth, like a blossoming tree that hath been hewn by an axe. Seeing that Lord of the world and mighty Boatman, Rama, fallen, like a sleeping elephant fatigued with turning up earth with its tusks, his brothers exercised with sorrow, broke out into lamentations, and along with Videha's daughter began to sprinkle water on his face. Then regaining his consciousness, Kakutstha shedding tears from his eyes, distressfully addressed himself to speech. And hearing that Lord of earth, his sire, had gone to heaven, that righteous one said unto Bharata words fraught with virtue and interest, what shall I do with Ayodhya, my sire having gone the way ordained by the gods? And who will govern her, now that she hath been deprived of that foremost of monarchs? Of fruitless birth that I am, what can I do for that magnanimous one? And of him that renounced his life from grief on my account, I have not even performed the last rites. Ah, Bharata, thou, O sinless one, art blessed, since by thee as well as by Satrughna have performed all the funeral rites of the king. To Ayodhya, bereft of the monarch, having none to preside over her destinies, and many rulers, will I not return even when the term of my abode in the woods has been passed. My father having gone to the other world, who, O subduer of enemies, will again counsel me when, my stay in the forest being over, I shall have returned unto Ayodhya. And from whom shall I hear those words grateful unto the ear, which my father gratifying me used to speak unto me when I happened to do something well? Having thus addressed Bharata, Raghava burning in grief, spoke unto his wife, with her countenance resembling the full moon, saying, O Sita, thy father-in-law is dead and, O Lakshmana, thou art fatherless. Bharata has communicated unto me the sad intelligence that our father hath ascended heaven. When Kakutstha had said this, tears began to shower forth from the eyes of the renowned princess. Then all those brothers, pacifying as best they could Rama stricken with sorrow, said unto him, Do thou perform the watery rites of that Lord of the earth, our sire. Having heard that her father-in-law, the king, had gone to the celestial regions, Sita, with her eyes filled with tears, could not see her beloved. Thereupon, pacifying the weeping daughter of Janaka, Rama, moved with grief, spoke unto the distressed Lakshmana, saying, Do thou bring inguri fruits as well as a piece of new bark. I will go to perform the watery rites of our high-souled sire. Let Sita go first. Do thou follow her. I shall go last. Even this is the course of those in mourning. Then that magnanimous one, having a knowledge of the soul, mild, graceful, capable of controlling his senses, steady in his regard for Rama, and ever following him, Sumantra, in company with those sons of the king, having cheered up Raghava, brought him to the auspicious river, Mandakini. Then those illustrious ones, having in distress arrived at the river Mandakini, having convenient descents, charming, ever furnished with blossoming woods, and of rapid currents, and approached its descents, goodly and void of mud, offered water unto the monarch, uttering, May this be so. And the protector of the earth, Rama, holding water with his joined hands, facing the south, said weeping, O foremost of monarchs, may this clear water, knowing no deterioration, reach thee, who hast gone to the world of the ancestral mains. Then drawing nigh unto the marge of the Mandakini, the energetic Raghava along with his brothers, offered the pind unto his father. And placing the inguri pind mixed with jayub on a bed of durva, Rama, crying in distress, said, O mighty monarch, do thou well pleased feed on this, which we also live upon. That which is the fare of an individual, is also the fare of his divinities. Then that foremost of men, ascending the bank of the stream by the self-same way, got up on the charming side of the hill. And having arrived at the gate of the cottage of leaves, that Lord of the earth held both Bharata and Lakshmana with his hands. And there the hill reverberated at the sounds raised by the brothers wailing along with Vaidehi, like unto lions roaring. And perceiving the loud uproar of those mighty ones engaged in offering water unto their sire, indulging in lamentations, the army of Bharata became agitated. And they said, For certain Bharata hath met with Rama, and this mighty noise proceeds from them, as they are bitterly mourning their deceased sire. Thereat, leaving aside their vehicles, they with one mind rushed towards the spot wherefrom proceeded the uproar. And of those that were tender, some went on horses, and some on elephants, and some on ornamented chariots, while others went on foot. And eager to behold Rama staying away for a short time, though seeming to do so for a long period, all the men at once went to the hermitage. And desirous of witnessing the meeting of the brothers with Rama, they with all dispatch proceeded by means of various vehicles consisting of beasts and cars. And the ground trodden by the wheels of innumerable cars emitted loud sounds, like those emitted by the sky on clouds gathering. And frightened by the uproar, elephants accompanied by female ones, perfuming all sides by the fragrance of temporal juice, went to another forest. And boars, and deer, and lions, and buffaloes, and shrimaras, and tigers, and gokarnas, gayals and prishathas were stricken with panic. And wild with alarm, chakravakas and swans, and natuhas, and plavas, and karandavas, and male koels, and Kronchas, fled away in all directions. And the welkin was enveloped by birds frightened by the noise, as the earth was covered by men, and both the sky and the land then gave out great effulgence. As the people suddenly saw that foremost of men, the sinless and illustrious Rama seated on the ground, accusing Kaikeyi as well as the vile Manthara, the people approached Rama, with their countenances discovering tears. Seeing those men oppressed with grief with their eyes filled with tears, that one cognizant of virtue like fathers and mothers, embraced those that deserved it. And he embraced some persons, and some offered him salutations. And the king's son, as each deserved, properly received them along with their friends and equals in age. And the sounds, produced by those high-souled persons lamenting, resounding the earth and the sky, and the mountain caverns, and all the cardinal points, were heard like peals of mridangas. Section 104. Desirous of seeing Rama, Vasishtha, taking before him the wives of Dasaratha, proceeded towards the hermitage. And as the wives of the king were going slowly by the Mandakini, they discovered the landing place, which was used by Rama and Lakshmana. Thereupon Kausalya, with her eyes filled with tears and her countenance rendered pale, observed unto the forlorn Sumitra as well as the other wives of the king, sacred like unto a first wife. In this forest this is the landing place of those unfortunate ones of untiring energy, who had been deprived of the kingdom. From here, O Sumitra, doth thy son, Saumitri, ever vigilant, personally procure water for my son. Although thy son performeth a servile office, yet he is not to blame, the performance of that alone, which serves no purpose of his brother possessed of many perfections, could bring blame upon him. Today let thy son, who doth not deserve such toilsome work, cease to perform that office, which is fraught with hardships fit only for the base. That lady of expansive eyes happened to see on the earth the Inguri pind, which had been placed by Rama for his sire on the derb with their tops pointing southward. Seeing this, which had been placed on the ground by Rama, disconsolate for his sire, the noble Kausalya addressed all the wives of Dasaratha, saying, Do ye behold this that hath been duly offered to the high-souled descendant of Raghu, Lord of the Ikshvaku race, by Raghava. I do not deem this as fit fare for that magnanimous monarch resembling a celestial, who had enjoyed every luxury in life. Having enjoyed this earth, bounded by the four seas, how can that Lord of the world, resembling on earth the mighty Indra, feed on this Inguri pind? Nothing appeareth to me more deplorable in this world than this, that the auspicious Rama hath offered an Inguri cake unto his father. Seeing the Inguri pind offered by Rama unto his father, why doth not my heart break into 1,000 slivers? Now the tradition in vogue among men, appeareth to be true, viz., that, the fare that is partaken by a person, is also partaken by his deity. Then those that were cohwives with her, consoled the distressed Kausalya, and, entering the asylum, beheld Rama, like an immortal dropped from the celestial regions. Seeing Rama, who had been deprived of every comfort, his mothers, overwhelmed with grief and distress, began to shed tears, lamenting. Raising his mothers, that foremost of men, Rama, true to his promise, took hold of those lotus feet of theirs. And those once furnished with expansive eyes, on their turn by means of their fair hands of delicious feel furnished with soft fingers and palms, fell to rubbing the dust of Rama's back. After Rama had done, Sumitra's son also, seeing all his mothers, with sorrow gently paid his reverence unto them with affection. Thereat, as they had treated Rama, all the ladies treated that one sprung from Dasaratha, Lakshmana, graced with auspicious marks. Sita also with her eyes filled with tears, having taken hold of the feet of her mothers-in-law, stood before them in distressful guise. Embracing that woeful one in banishment, even as a mother doth her daughter, Kausalya, smitten with grief, said, the daughter of Videha's king, and the daughter-in-law of Dasaratha, and the wife of Rama himself, why doth such a lady undergo misery in the lone forest? O Vaidehi, beholding thy face like unto a lotus heated under the sun, or a lily that hath been crushed, or like unto gold covered with dust, or the moon enveloped by clouds. Grief begot of this vortex of disaster that is in my mind, fiercely burneth me, as fire consumeth a structure. As his wretched mother was thus speaking, Bharata's elder brother, Raghava, approaching, took the feet of Vasishtha. Having taken hold of the feet of the priest resembling a flame, and of accumulated energy, like unto that lord of the immortals, Indra, taking the feet of Vrihaspati, Raghava sat down with him. Then behind them, Rama and Vasishtha, along with his own counsellors, and principal citizens, and generals, and persons of eminent piety, sat the virtuous Bharata in the presence of his elder brother. Seeing Raghava in the guise of an ascetic, flaming in grace, the exceedingly powerful Bharata with joined palms sat down in company with his brother, like the great Indra of controlled faculties in presence of Prajapati. What will Bharata, having bowed unto Raghava and paid him homage, say to him? This intense curiosity arose in the minds of all the noble persons present there. And Raghava having truth and forbearance, and Lakshmana endowed with magnanimity, and Bharata possessed of righteousness, surrounded by their friends, appeared there like unto the three fires surrounded by Satsyas. Section 105. As those foremost of persons surrounded by their friends indulged in lamentations, the night passed away in grief. On the night being succeeded by an auspicious morning, those brothers surrounded by their friends, having performed Homa and Japa on the Mandakini, returned unto Rama. And sitting silent, no one said anything. Then Bharata addressed Rama in the midst of those friends, saying, my mother was first pacified by grant of the kingdom. The kingdom is now mine. I grant the same unto thee. Do thou enjoy the kingdom rid of its thorns. Like unto a dike forced by a torrent during the rains, this mighty monarchy is difficult of being protected save by thee. As a mule is incapable of imitating the course of a horse, or as birds, that of Tarakshya, I, O Lord of earth, lack the strength to imitate thee. O Rama, ever happy is the life of him that others depend upon for subsistence, unhappy is the life of the person that depends upon others for support. As a tree planted by a person, and by him made to increase, until at last, sending out branches, a mighty tree, it is incapable of being got up by a dwarf. And then, if, flowering, it show no fruits, it cannot contribute to the satisfaction of him for whom it hath been planted. O mighty armed one, this comparison is meant for thee. This it behoves thee to apprehend, inasmuch as thou art our excellent Lord, and thou dost not teach us who depend upon thee for support. Let the principal orders, O monarch, behold thee, repressor of foes, established in the kingdom, like the powerful sun himself. O Kakustha, let mad elephants roar, with the view of following thee, and let the women of the inner apartments with concentrated minds utter jubilation. On hearing the words of Bharata, who was beseeching Rama, Many of the citizens expressed their approbation by exclaiming, "Excellent well." Seeing the illustrious Bharata aggrieved and engaged in lamentation, the calm and considerate Rama consoled him, saying, "No creature is endowed with the power of exercising any control over the course of events. Man has no independent status in nature. The destroyer draws him both here and hereafter. Those that increase are destined to deteriorate, those that go upward ultimately fall, those that come together separate in the end, and life at length meets with death. As a ripe fruit hath no other fear than fall, so man who is born hath no other fear than death. Even as a stout-pillared edifice, getting dilapidated, waxes weak, so men coming under the sway of decrepitude and death, get enfeebled. A night that hath gone by, doth not return, as the full Yamuna, when she hath entered the ocean, doth not come back. In this world, days and nights pass away with creatures, and speedily impair their lives, even as in summer the rays of the sun dry up the waters. Do thou therefore deplore thyself. Why dost thou lament anything else? Every one's life is decreasing, whether he sits or moves. Death goeth with one, sitteth down with one, and, after having gone a long way, returneth with one. The person is filled with folds in the skin, the hair hath grown hoary. The individual is enfeebled because of age. By doing what can he prevent this? People rejoice on the rising of the sun, they feel delighted at the approach of night, but they do not understand that their lives have meanwhile been shortened. People are exhilarated at the commencement of a new season in novel fashion. Creatures get their lives shortened at the change of seasons. As on the mighty ocean, one piece of wood comes in contact with another, so, a person, having been in association with another, is separated from him in time. In this way, wives and sons and kindred and wealth, having been in association, go away, their separation is certain. There exists not one in this world that can change one's nature as received. A person lamenting a dead individual hath no power to prevent his own death. As, while one is proceeding on a road, another stationed by the way, says, "I too will go in thy wake," even so, the way that hath been followed by our predecessors, must be followed as well by us. Why should people mourn for deceased relatives, when they are themselves subject to the fate that knoweth no turning? Perceiving the destruction of life declining, like unto a current that never turneth back, one should engage his soul in happiness, for all men are said to be born for the same. My child, our righteous sire, who, after having performed excellent and entire sacrifices, accompanied with the Kshimas, hath repaired to heaven, honored of the good, should not be mourned. Having renounced his human frame wasted and worn out with age, our father hath attained celestial state, which exists in the regions of Brahma. Such an one should never be mourned by any wise person like thee or myself, accomplished in learning and more than ordinarily intelligent. Such manifold grief and mourning and lamentation should be renounced by intelligent and firm persons in all conditions in life. Do thou cast off this grief, let not sorrow overpower thee. Going thither, stay in that city. And, O best of speakers, this was also enjoined by our sire of controlled senses. I also must do my noble father's will as to whatever that one of pious acts has laid upon me. O subduer of foes, it is not proper for me to pass by his orders. So they are also worthy of being honored by thee. He is our friend and father. O descendant of Raghu, that mandate of our righteous father, acceptable unto me, will I obey by abiding in the woods. O for most of men, good in the next world is capable of being attained by an honest and pious person crowned with sterling virtues, ever following his superiors. O best of men, thinking that our father Dasaratha has attained excellent state, do thou, resorting to all noble qualities, seek thy welfare in the next world. Having said these significant words unto his younger brother, with the view of making him obey the injunctions of their father, that lord, the magnanimous Rama, paused. If you enjoyed this audiobook, please like and subscribe to be notified of when new audiobooks are uploaded. Thank you for listening and learning. Shanti.